Hi there, fourth graders. I I'm always excited to see you and always excited to work on lessons with you. But today it's at an increased level. It's pretty high level like excitement for today. Um, and it's an odd thing because honestly, today's lesson comes from a mistake. I feel like my mistakes. I'll tell you more about it later, but I'm also saying that this phrase, this repeat after me that we do every single art, it has a different meaning to me this week. Like I said, because of my mistake and how I almost was going to give up and just move on, and then I came up with an idea, and it's helping me solve the problems. And I'm feeling like an actual art teacher today. We'll see if I can pull it off. All right, so repeat after me, even if you just say it in your head. Okay? I am an artist. I am a creator of ideas and a solver of problems. Sometimes the problems are on my paper, sometimes they're with my neighbor, sometimes they're inside of myself. That's what I was feeling. But I know I can solve problems because mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. And I am proud to be an artist. Okay, now I gotta tell you what I was so excited about. So let's go back to last week. And you're like, we've done this before. I know. And I don't want to take anything away from the success that you found last week. Many of you followed along. You had your watercolors, your water, you were doing changing the value. You were doing a great job. You took pictures, you sent them to me. The mistake was not in what you did. So I want to make sure I say that really clearly. The mistake was with me. And if you were listening carefully in the video, you probably heard me say it. I caught myself going, wait a second, this isn't how I teach this lesson, and it's not the best way to teach this lesson, but I just kept going, and that led to possibly some struggles for you. Um, as you remember, the steps, the very very light, then the medium light, then the medium, then the dark, we're supposed to dry in between. That's the best way to do this. A watercolor where you're stacking your colors, so that you don't get that fuzzy effect. And I ended up solving the problem for myself, and I went and got a hair dryer. But honestly, that's not fair because I'm the art teacher, and I didn't set you up for success because I should have taught it in a different way, so that your project, you either had two working at the same time from the beginning, or I said, maybe I could have said, like, you're going to do step, go get a snack, do next step, do three math problems. I mean, I don't know what I could have said, but I could have done it differently. Or I could have played a video in between. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I could have done differently. And some of you might have solved my problem for me, and maybe you just hit pause, went about your business, came back when it was dry. You possibly were the artist in this situation, thinking about creative solutions. And again, I don't want to say that like there was any kind of a disaster that happened. It just wasn't my best art teaching. And I have pretty high expectations for myself. And because I know that when I'm successful, you're successful. And when I struggle, you might struggle too. And that's not what I want. So we did do a lot of good things. We learned about value. We learned about controlling. Oops, don't play. I don't want that to play. Get out of this slide. Okay, here's another mistake. Witnessing. Oh my gosh, it does not want to go. There we go. We learned about like how to make a tint with watercolor, and you were controlling the amount of water, maybe even made a value scale. In fact, some of you did because you sent me a picture, which was super cool. So those are successes, absolutely. But I was totally going to have a different project for today, and have you play around with something that some of you I know have used in class, some of you haven't, because I was talking to your teachers. Um, you know how Mr. Adams comes to your Zooms? Okay, now you're like, what is she talking about? Well, I go to the second grader Zooms every morning and an afternoon. And so They are the ones that taught me about something called Kami. Oh, that's not it. Well, that is it, but I'll come back to that. Kami, here we go. So Kami is something that is allowing the second graders, the second grade teachers to put like worksheets and different things not into the computer. That sounds weird. Anyway, they're loading them online, and then the second graders are able to either highlight things that are written on there. They're able to write, and they can write with a text box, or they can do text to speech, like whether it's recording their voices, or they can just use the drawing tool and actually write on their screen, and then it immediately submits whatever like reading assignment or math assignment. It goes right to the teacher. It's like super cool. In fact, because they were doing it in class, probably about 6 weeks ago, I gave them a drawing lesson on Kami, and we were playing around with the drawing tool. So I was like, okay, if second graders have done it, I'm going to do it now with fourth grade. So I had a completely different idea for you. We'll probably do it in the future. It was more of like a creative challenge with these circles, blah, blah, blah. But then I just was sitting here this morning going, okay, I just was lacking motivation about it. And I think it was because I was still struggling with last week's monochromatic landscapes or value landscapes. And now it just didn't go according to plan. And I love this project. I think it's beautiful. And then the light bulb went off. Oh, there's actually a light up there. I should have had it illuminate. The light bulb went off that I could take, instead of the other idea with Kami, we're going to take this project from last week and do it in Kami. And I just did it. And this is mine. And it was so fun. And it kind of looks fancy. It really actually does. It's not that hard. Like once you kind of get yourself acquainted with Kami, so maybe that's going to take 5 minutes of fooling around with for you, and then you erase it all, and then you actually start the project. Totally cool. Maybe you have more like familiarity with it already, and you're going to jump right into this, which is totally cool too. So it's so fun, you guys. I'll post this into our Google Classroom, and this video will be a link. Okay, duh. If you're watching the video, you already know it's a link because you found it. But if you go straight to Kami, some of you might have already done that, and you just see a blank piece of paper, you're going to be like, what am I doing here? So, okay, you've already found the video because you're watching it. But if anybody else in your class or your neighbors or whatever, if you guys are talking and they're like, what are we doing in art? Just give us a piece of paper. Tell them to watch the video first, this video, all right? Because it's going to explain it all. Okay, so let me exit. Oh, that did not exit. Well, I am struggling today, which is bizarre because I feel like I finally am coming out of my struggle. All right, so here is here's this. This is what you just saw. So this is Kami. It's got a toolbar down the side. You kind of saw that in that other thing. And then whatever the worksheet is, but for us, here's the other one we're working on today. It's just going to be a plain piece of paper, which is like, isn't it like the good old days where I used to hand you a plain piece of paper? No, the pink person used to go get the plain piece of paper. I miss the good old days. All right, but again, here are these tools down the side. Now, if you're on your Chromebook, some of you love using a stylus. You actually might use a stylus for this. Sometimes I use my finger. You can't see that because the camera's there and my finger's below it. Some of you might use your finger to draw directly on your screen because you prefer that. I'm using my mouse pad. I don't know why I keep doing that, but it's comfortable for me now. Some of you might have an external mouse and you might be working on there. I know that, so already we're kind of using this tool differently depending on what your preferences are or your other tools. All right, quit talking. So numero uno, you're gonna come over and you see all this stuff. Don't worry about these right now. These are pretty much the two tools that you're going to use. Mostly drawing, honestly. Oh, drats. I thought this was going to change. Anyway, don't worry about it. Mostly drawing, but then we're also going to use some of the tools that are included with drawing. So first of all, I don't think yours is probably going to open up at a 12. I don't remember what it is. It's a default. These are basically like changing the font size. So if I was to draw a line right now, it would be skinny. I'll just do it and show you. La, la, la. If I expand that down and then click a 12, which is like a bigger font or a thicker line, la la la, there you go. That's actually the one I prefer for today because I'm going to be doing some coloring. Now, I don't want that to stay on there because I just did this whole project in red, and I don't want another red one. It was beautiful, though. So if you choose red, awesome. I actually want a different color. Now, did you see that I picked eraser? And all I had to do was like touch it and tap my screen, and poof, it went away. Like I said, this is, once you get it, it's like not that hard. It's kind of fun. Okay, so these are some of the basic colors that Cami just chooses for us. It might look a little bit different because I've been playing around so much, but you have to decide what you want. Those are not all the colors. So you see the little paint palette down here, and you won't have the Screencastify tab down here, so it's blocking. Oh, get out of here! It's blocking my my choices, but I'm gonna make it work. So, oops, went to eraser. Now I'm like, what happened to my color? Doy. I forgot to go back to drawing. Okay, so back to drawing. I'm gonna choose more colors. Ooh la la! This is what we're talking about, right? So right now I am going to pick my color. Once I pick it, I'm sticking with it. So all I'm going to work with is that value scale. Do you see how this is connecting to last week? This is so fun. So maybe I do want to go with just that simple, like we talked about how so many artists just use pencil. Maybe I just want to go across the top and use the gray, black value scale. Maybe I love turquoise, which I do, or maybe I like a little bit different blue, or maybe I want this periwinkle. Maybe I want purple. Maybe I want pink. Maybe I want red. I've already done red. Maybe I want orange. Remember how I said last week that yellow is really hard? Maybe today's the day to do it because it's not with paint. Or maybe I choose my favorite color, green. I'm not going to choose my favorite color, green. I'm drawn over here to this aqua. So first thing I need to do is start at the top, just like we did last week, where we got a whole bunch of water in there, barely touched the paint. This time, it's so less messy. So if anyone was mad at you last week for making a mess, you don't tell them, don't worry about it. So I'm going to hit save. I know I'm going to come back to that later. Wait a second. Where is it? That's not the color. Was it? No. I want this color. There it is. Okay. I don't know why that didn't. There it is. Why didn't that go the first time? Okay. So checking my font. It's not what it's called. This, I think they call it stroke thickness. It would almost be like, remember how I jokingly last week picked up that huge brush? And I was like, don't use that. That's what we're using today. It's just going to save you time. Now, keep in mind, it's sometimes hard to see where the edge of the paper is because the background on Cami is so close to the white paper. So I can see it on mine, the corner. I need to be up at the top, not at the top, but down a little bit. I can't even see the bottom of my paper. I'll get there later. So I'm going to start. I've got the lightest value, and I'm just going to start drawing my mountain. And it's like, that is not what I want it to look like. Ah, perfect. I don't even have to erase this. I just have to fix it. If I wanted it more diagonal, or I want it more pointy, or I want it less, what is that? I don't know. It's like a weird valley. Then I just start filling it in. Now, some of you right now are like, this is going to be another long video for Miss Danielson. She's going to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I'm going to pause in between, kind of like I did last week, but this time it's on purpose. So what I'm doing right now, I feel like I'm just like scribble coloring, and I don't have to have a perfect bottom edge to this because the next mountain is going to overlap. Just like in our watercolor, we can hide some of the messiness that was underneath there. Okay, so all I'm doing is like moving my mouse around. Could I do it with my finger? Yep. Oh, actually, that was a lot easier. Why have I not done this? I did that whole red one without trying this. Oh, I tell you what, if I had a stylus for this computer, I'd have to decide if I like it or not. I don't know if the thickness would change or if it stays skinny. I don't know because I've not tried my Chromebook for this project. I'm working on my PC. I don't know why. Okay, that's as far as I went. So apparently I'm not going to pause. But now I'm going to go over. This is not the correct color. None of these are the correct colors that I want. Got to go back to my palette, clicking on more colors, find the one I just did. It was up here at the top. Now I'm going to go down a value. If I want to go down 2 values, I can, but I'm just going to go down 1. Oh, I lost my other one. All right, it's fine. I could have picked like a different color and like subbed, since I don't need the reds, I could have put the blue into the red, but this will work. So I picked it, saving it. Hopefully it shows up. Yes, it does. Now I come back. Oh, isn't that pretty? Look, it's the difference there. Now I'm just kind of drawing across, getting that mountain shape the way I want it. And again, it's kind of an imperfect line, and that's okay. It's like not really curvy, not really zigzag. Oh, I messed up. Just see that? Oh, I messed up again. That's the beauty of this thing. They just go like this. La la la, nobody knows what happened, where I messed that up, because you're not gonna tell them. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna color a little bit. So I'll pause, so you don't have to watch me do this. Okay, I'm back. That was like magic. I wish it was that fast in real life. Hey, before I switch colors, I'm gonna make sure that I get all the little spots that I may have missed. I mean, it's not a tragedy if I don't, because I can either leave them, maybe I think it looks pretty, or I can always go back to them and pick that color again, even though I've changed its darker value. All right, so remember how we do this? Find the paint palette, click more colors, think about which color you started with, which column are you in. I'm in the first one, so that makes it really easy. Oh, I was going to do something different. Now I'm going to pick that color, which now sub. There we go. See, now I'm keeping the one I have and then adding a new one. So I could do them all right now if I wanted. Although sometimes they look so close, I'm afraid I'm going to get confused. But it's okay if I do. Okay, now I'm going to hit save. Oh, I might as well just finish it, right? Oh no, that went away. Forgot to choose a new. Go over there. So you can do it either way. You can get them all figured out like I'm doing right now. Or you can do what I did on my red one, which is I just kept popping back and forth, moving my way down the value scale, and that worked out just fine. Because see, now I'm going to open them up, and I'm like, I don't know, what's darker, this one or this one? Did I already use that one? I did. Okay, so I'm down to here. If you don't want all of the, pretty. If you don't want all of these, maybe you only want to do a 3 mountain value scale landscape, that's cool. Just make sure you're picking 3 different values. So you're going from light to medium to dark. Okay, so again, I'm going to pause because you don't want to watch all this. Magic. Oh, this is so fun. It's so fun. Okay, next one. I'm going to think this one's darker. I might not hit them all. I might end up stopping and like filling up the bottom of the page, which, by the way, let me scroll. The bottom of the page is not the bottom of the screen. So make sure you scroll down. Whoa, look how much more I have. I'm only like halfway. Beautiful bow. I mean, I suppose what would happen if you didn't go all the way down? I don't know. Your art teacher would be furious with you. Well, I feel like that changed, didn't it? I feel like I went over to a different blue. Did I accidentally do that? Did I click on the next column over? Is that okay? I think I'm leaving it, even if it's a mistake. Mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. And sometimes they're pretty. Okay, are you guys getting this? Do you want me to just quit talking so you can go do it? Probably. Again, there's a real irregularity. That means it's not perfect. The look of the line of the mountains that's up in here, not perfect. And that's what's so fun about this too. Oh, look at that. That's really not perfect. That is very not perfect. But I love that Cami lets us just kind of fix stuff. And if I wanted to, I could come back over to Eraser I was like, I don't like that color. Look, it's pretty much just going to go away. Oh, why did so much of it go away? Okay, that was unexpected. I didn't know that was going to happen. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back, find this color, that value, which I believe was this, and then I can just hide it. I can hide that little bit of the other blue. I got to fill in my whites again, little spots that I missed. And maybe I decide, you know what, I got a lot of paper left to go. So maybe I'll make this bigger. Maybe I'll come way down here with this aqua color before I switch value. Sure, why not? It's fun. If I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'm going to let you go. If you wanted to add shapes, because I suppose you could build this with shapes instead of the drawing tool, although I prefer the drawing tool. The shapes is how I made, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if it was, what was it, a sun, a moon? I don't know what it was. It was the red circle in the sky on the last one. So you click shapes, and again, there are going to be options of colors. I'm going to stay with my same value or my same color. I'll go with a darker one though, just for fun. I have already selected the circle from the last time I used it, so it was automatically where it went. My stroke thickness is still there, so you might want to adjust. This is kind of fun with transparency. I could show you that in a second. But if you, I don't know why you'd be putting a triangle. I don't know. Who knows? You guys are so creative. Decide where you want it. I'm going to still kind of go over to the side, and there it is. Now, that I got lucky on. I filled the whole thing in, except for one little dot. But sometimes when I do it, it ends up looking more like a donut. Now I want a donut. So then I'm going to either add another one inside, or what else would you do? What else would I have done to fill in that donut? Because these are circles. If you said drawing tool, ding, 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 you are correct. You win. Yeah, why don't I just take the drawing tool and like color it in again? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I did that last night, this morning, and then it bounced outside of my circle and messed it up. Why do I have two circles in the sky? I don't know. Do I like one more than the other? Yeah, I actually kind of like the small one. Oh, that was interesting. I kind of want a moon now. There's so many things you can do with this, you guys. It's fun. Okay, so this is Kami. It's supposed to be used for math and reading and writing, but I'm using it for art. It's super fun. There's other tools on here too. Yeah, you might end up kind of playing around with them and figuring some things out. But I want you to come back to this idea of the monochromatic landscape, the drawing tool, using your value scale when you hit the color palette. And then at the end, how does this go? I'm trying to remember. I think to turn it in, I don't think it's download. You're going to go up to the corner. So there's, I know that it's me, like it's KD. Yours is going to have your initials. I think it's save. I think you hit save. Yours is going to look differently. And then maybe you go back to Google Classroom and hit turn in. Oh, this is the hardest part for being a teacher and trying to remember what it looks like as the student compared to the teacher. Okay, tell you what. If it's not save and turn in, I will figure it out and I will write it in the Google Classroom so that you'll know the directions will be written instead of me randomly trying to remember. Okay, this is so fun. And I love, again, mistakes. I make them all the time. And I could have just left it and we could have moved on with our lives and said, oh, remember the time we watercolor painted and we did some value changes and blah, blah, blah. But I love that I figured it out. And I think this is a different way of doing it. I think it's using some of our computer skills, which you guys are phenomenal with, but it's still the same concepts. We're still talking about values and light to dark and showing distance in a landscape. I mean, it's all the stuff without the water. Oh, I forgot to show you the rest of it. So it's all of those reds and pinks. Whew, that was a lot. If you don't want to do every layer, you don't have to. Okay, have fun. Have fun, have fun. Thanks for being kind to me last week. You're always kind.